This is Territory Tales, the stories behind the fascinating people that make up the awesome places of Oregon's Mount Hood Territory. I am your host, Jared Lyman, joined by always as Molly Johnson. Molly, it is our triumphant return to podcasting. It's been a little bit.
It has been way too long. We're so happy that Lisa came to join us.
Hello.
Yes, say hello. Introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hey there, I'm Lisa. I own Happyrock Coffee over in Gladstone, Oregon.
Yes, she does.
And I think Happyrock is a great way to start the podcast series back up because we are happy to have you here. What originally started as like a quick break over the holidays turned into about a 3-month hiatus as time of guests and our time fairly non-coinciding. So we're glad to have you here.
Good word.
And honestly, it's a good timing as well because March being International Women's Month and you run a very popular women-owned business.
Yes.
So tell us, first off, what got you into coffee and starting your own coffee house?
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I've been working in coffee. It was one of my first jobs when I was a teenager. It wasn't my first job, but it was one of my first jobs. And just from there, it kind of went from there. Roasting coffee was my next nerdy step. It was the next progression. And so I like coffee in the way of like drinking like fancy frilly drinks like mochas and whatnot. And I didn't really think about coffee more in depth until I moved to Oregon. I got my first job at a coffee roasting company. It was called La Rosa. It doesn't exist anymore, but it used to be on the corner of 33rd and Killingsworth in Northeast Portland. And it was one of the first micro roasters about like 15 years ago. Well, that's kind of like, becoming kind of a bigger thing. And through La Taza, actually, I met the people that own Happyrock Coffee because I actually didn't start Happyrock.
You bought it after it had been going, yeah.
Yeah, so...
but you improved it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But, so I bought Happyrock 10 years ago, and just by coincidence, it has the same kind of coffee roaster that La Rosa had, same brand, same model, everything like that. So I didn't have to, like, learn again about roasting coffee. It's exactly the same type of coffee roaster.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
But
now,
she mentioned that she moved here.
Yeah, where'd you come from?
I'm from California.
We are going to have to edit that
Yeah,
out.
no.
Beep. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
How long ago? How long ago?
15 years.
Yeah. So she's a resident.
Yeah, I mean, we can
Yeah.
count that. 15 years, that's
Yeah,
practically.
and I'm in Gladstone for 10 of those, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely a Clackamas County resident.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig, and I pride myself on puns and able to turn a phrase and wordplay and whatnot, and I completely missed the meaning of Happyrock Coffee, and I kicked myself when you told me. I'm like, God, I can't believe I missed that.
Oh, yeah. Happyrock is a play on Gladstone. That's what the old-timers say. They go, I live in Happyrock, Oregon. So
I loved it, and I'm so bad at myself for missing that when we first met. But going back into the coffee business, you talked about the roasting thing. Now, I admit, as somebody who doesn't like know much about coffee, I know I drink mochas, and like you said, I mean, if it's like one step away from a milkshake, what I enjoy.
Right.
But what does the roasting do?
Roasting. Okay, so coffee, it's like a, coffee is like the seed of like a coffee cherry, essentially.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like a small, hard little thing. It doesn't have any flavor. It's kind of like a rock. And when you roast it, you bring out the flavor.
Oh, okay. So is it like actually just like in this thing with fire and heat and all that stuff?
Yeah, the coffee roaster is kind of like a spinning oven. It spins around and it has a heat source underneath, and then it spins around for a while, and then you get some delicious coffee. And so depending on how long you roast the coffee, that will make the difference between like a light roast, medium roast, dark roast, that kind of thing. And then whatever countries they're from too, that affects the flavor of the coffee.
Okay, so where do you like to source your coffee then from?
So I really, 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 really like coffee from Brazil. Yeah.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah, South American coffees. But yeah, I get them from all over. I get them from Indonesia, from South America, Central America, Africa. So, yeah.
Do you get to go there?
I've been working on coordinating an origin trip for myself. I'm supposed to be going maybe next year with a group to Guatemala, which I'm very excited about. I haven't actually had the opportunity to do that just yet, but I know that's the next step in my process. Is actually seeing it grow and actually picking the coffee myself. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of like delves into one of the points I was going to make is because, you're trying to find the time to make that trip. Mm-hmm. But as the business owner, you're not just like this business owner who's in the back, doing paperwork and stuff. You have your hands on every facet of the business.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's a small shop, and so sometimes I'll take shifts in the shop. Not as much anymore. I have a really solid group of people that work for me, but I do personally roast all the coffee and put the coffee into bags and bring those bags to different places too. So
Yes.
so I'm involved.
We've been there when
Yes.
she's
Yeah.
been doing the roasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
herself.
But I mean, so it shows to me that the passion that you have for what you're doing, because you are still involved in the production of your product. So I mean, because you said this was your first job. I mean, this is a while ago now. I mean, what has kept you involved in coffee where you still love what you're doing?
I just really like the culture of coffee. I know it's changed a lot over the last 15 years, but coffee was always one of those things that was kind of fun. It brought people together. You know, you go to a coffee place and you go in there and there's a bunch of strangers and you walk out with a bunch of friends and everybody's really happy and caffeinated, and I really like that whole thing. And to me too, it was like something that was really anti-establishment. And it's true, like when I was younger, and I think this is just something people do, young people, but they'd come up to you when you're working at a coffee shop, say, and they'd be like, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because you're not going to do coffee forever. And I was like, watch me.
Watch me do it.
so
All right,
here
I think we have the takeaway line from the podcast right there.
Watch me.
Already 6 minutes in, we've already got the takeaway line.
Perfect.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of anti-establishment, though, when you think of a coffee shop, I would say most people wouldn't think of what your shop looks like. Yours is incredibly unique and it's beloved. So what made you guys kind of set it up the way you did, where it's really an eclectic coffee shop?
Oh, thank you. I don't know how to answer that.
Oh.
I don't know. It just kind of came together, like partially because of the neighborhood that it's in, and just like the layout of the shop, and then my personality too. You know.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
I'm not going to stop you.
Okay. Well, I see. I'm a bit of a smartass, you know. So like, I think that really kind of shines through, you know, with how we do stuff there.
Yes.
You know, so I don't think people expect that from like more of a corporate type of establishment, but
I figured out why I like her.
Yeah.
We're a
I
little-
know.
we're a little different over there, so.
I mean, just the back patio alone, I think, is probably my favorite spot. Just because, I mean, you just have to come. Just come check it out. I won't spoil it, but there's some cool stuff back
Yeah,
there.
we got a patio, and then we added beer a couple years ago too. So now we can have beer. And then speaking of beer, we have a beer. I've had a few beers with different brewers,
Yeah.
but our newest one was with Coin Toss.
Tim's a good guy. He's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah,
Tim
so we have
was Tim Hole.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
our very first podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He
So,
started the
Tim is
Territory
great.
Tales.
good collaboration.
We've come full circle.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
What's the collaboration that you guys have working
So
on?
Tim has put our coffee into a beer, and it's called the Divine Exchange. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Once again, his penchant for whimsical names continues.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it's our coffee, the blend called Darkness of Divinity, and he puts it into one that was called, I think it was called the Heat Exchanger. And so the name came about, the Divine Exchange. And they have it over their tap room, and we have it at our coffee shop too.
That's awesome.
Very cool. So that again, you're like giving me all these natural segues into things I was already going to talk about. So I swear to God, we did not plan this ahead of time. But you have kind of brought about the culture of the neighborhood coffee house. You've kind of resurrected that, because as it went mainstream and a couple large corporations started showing up like on every 5 feet, the prevalence of coffee became more out there, but the neighborhood community feel may have kind of been lost. But you really are a central part of Gladstone. I mean, you really are a main part of that town's identity, and you take it upon yourself then to really promote the town, and you've kind of like taken that mantle and really run with it.
You know, I started noticing a couple of years back when I was doing farmers markets that people had no idea where Gladstone was. that was actually a bigger challenge than just selling my coffee was. I'd be at places, say like in Westland over here, and I'd say, oh, we're just across the freeway. We're like 2 exits up in Gladstone. They're like, there's a place called Gladstone. That was kind of blowing my mind, you know, because I bought the coffee shop, and that's how I learned about the neighborhood outside of Gladstone, from that being my center point out.
Right.
And so a lot of people didn't realize there was a place between Oregon City and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There sure is.
Yeah, so there we are, Gladstone. Yeah.
But that's got to be kind of rewarding for you, seeing not just your business grow, but the reputation of your town as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, more people are moving to Gladstone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
definitely
It's all for
younger
coffee.
people. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. All for coffee. That's what they say.
they're only moving there so that they can go get their morning coffee every day from Happyrock, and I get it.
Yeah, but seriously, what you're saying though about the community cafes, like that's what I liked about coffee when I first got into it, and I noticed in the last 15 years, stuff has really gotten like a little more modern and sleek, and a little more cold and less about people hanging out and having fun and that kind of thing. And while I appreciate people getting in touch with where coffee comes from and being more into like single origin coffees and drinking their coffee black, we have something for that. But I also like the part that's fun, you know, like kind of like where you know, you go to a donut place and you're not like, oh, let me get the most basic donut. You want something maybe with sprinkles and fun. So we also have something like that for people too. Like we do
I'm
stuff
pretty
with,
basic with my donuts.
you know, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. You get the
with the coffee, no,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
donuts, yeah. I'm like, just throw some chocolate on it, more chocolate, and then some more.
But
Yeah,
their concoctions are, I mean, we've seen you make us multiple different ones just for even photo shoots.
Yeah.
And those are just, they're, the amount of stuff that's in them. Like
Little works of art.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're so pretty and tasty. I mean, I would think that that would be your favorite. You love all the...
Well, no, that stuff, yeah. The donuts, I'm basic. When it comes to the
Okay.
coffee drinks, yeah, I need as much stuff in there as possible.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I'm still
yeah.
a child in many ways. So.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with having fun with your beverages. You know, it's the same to me. It's kind of like with beer. You know, as beers become more popular, some of the microbrewers, they do crazy things. Like they're like, oh, we put this kind of fruit and that kind of thing and this kind of thing. We put an entire pizza in one beer, and people are like, wow, that's amazing. You know, with coffee, it's gone the other direction where people are like, oh, it's got the least amount of ingredients, and I think that's cool. But I just can't imagine if you went into a like a bar and you say, what kind of beers do you have? I want a dark beer, and they're like, oh no, all we have is lager.
Right.
Because lager is like the best kind of beer, you know.
I'm pretty sure they did that for IPAs for a while, but they've kind of moved past that part.
Yeah. So I want to have like some variety and something for everybody, and it's okay to drink black coffee, and that should be good. But also, it's okay to have a fun beverage. That's fine too. I think of them as little desserts, you know. So again, like we don't do anything with like non-fat milk. I don't have anything with sugar-free ingredients. I don't want to lie to people and act like they're just like a regular beverage, just a dessert in a cup. And I treat it as such, you know, with the full ingredients. We get milk from a local dairy. That's also another thing that's different, too. We get everything from Lady Lane Farm in Milano.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it comes in glass bottles, and you have to shake it,
Oh, wow.
you know, to get the layer of cream off the top.
That's awesome.
And I think it makes a huge difference in how the drinks taste.
Old school in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Well-
And, oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
It cuts down on waste, too. Like, we return all those bottles back to the milk guy. We have a milk guy who comes every week and takes the bottles back, brings us more stuff. So we cut down on so much plastic waste too.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Love that.
just
I know a
one
milk. I want a milkman.
Yeah.
No.
Considering how much milk we go through my house, I'd actually be either that or buy a cow.
Well, I also like that too, that you're saying, I'm not going to lie to people. Like if, you know, we have this, like the basic cup of joe, if that's what you want. But if you want the really fancy one, like you really, getting the sugar-free really isn't, you know, here's what's in it.
Yeah.
This is the best tasting thing. Enjoy it. Don't feel guilty. Just enjoy it.
And honestly, the real stuff is better for you than,
Yes.
you know, the artificial stuff. And it always tastes better, too. It's like it starts out the same and then like, oh, hey, I have an aftertaste.
Yeah.
So, I mean, keeping it natural like that, using the real stuff, on a more authentic product that just tastes better.
Yeah, to me, it's like the analogy of like I wouldn't go into a bakery and ask for a sugar-free, non-fat cake. I know some people probably would. I know there's like a market for that somewhere, but it's not. It's not my thing, and it's not what I'm doing.
I think it just hands you a sponge.
Well, and that just reiterates that she, you know, she has a distinct vibe. That's how she's been able
Yeah.
to have such a successful, you know, business that people relate to because it's real and they come back for more. You guys are so popular. And I had a question though that sparked. It was about the fancy drinks. So
Okay.
do you? You obviously have a set menu probably, but do you have specials each month of like a
We
new...
do actually have specials every
Okay.
month. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
great manager named Jessie, and she's been coming up with these crazy specials every month. I used to just do like a special that was kind of special all the time. But yeah, every month like she'll come up with something new. So in January, she came up with a champagne latte,
Oh, wow.
and she put these like pop rocks in it and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And then this month it's like a shamrock thing. So it's got like a green mint. Something like that. It's green, it's minty, and then we put like marshmallow charms on top and gold, you know, to go with like
I love it.
the leprechaun theme.
I saw that on your Instagram stories.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah,
All right, we're going to have to go try that.
you could try it. Marshmallow charms. Everybody likes those, right?
Everyone's looking for them. They're always after them.
But hey, if they did a champagne one, they could do rosé. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
we found her weakness.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll mention that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm just over here thinking Happy Pop Rocks.
Oh.
There's a connection there. With
Yeah,
that, but
there's something.
anyway.
There's definitely something there.
Sorry, I'm easily distracted.
Yeah.
But one of the things that goes with the popularity, and I think that proves it, is your attitude towards customer service, and evidenced by the fact that for the past few years, you've been one of Oregon's top 100 businesses. And that's all determined by online reviews. So obviously, people love you, and it goes beyond just, I mean, you can have good coffee, but, you know, if you were grumpy, it probably wouldn't.
Well,
if you're a grumpy raw coffee, it probably would not go as well for the customers.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I'm a smartass. I have no idea how this happened. So I guess people like it. And so thank you, everybody. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are.
No, we are not surprised. No.
The last time we talked, you had mentioned you're actually in the process of doing some other business stuff. Now, we don't need to go into the specifics, but you're already busy. So how are you able to work all of this into your day and your life? Because you're not taking any time to just chill ever.
I got a really good staff, really good people that I really trust. They're
I was going to say
awesome.
really good caffeine.
And there's also that. The caffeine holds it all together, but really a great manager can really hold the entire shop together. So that's really what the secret is. Yeah. Find somebody good and treat them well.
All right. See, any employers out there,
Yeah.
if you're listening, that was your simple strategy for success right there. Find good people and treat them like good people. I could just like end the podcast with that right there. But I wanted to know, though, I mean, so with all the stuff that you have that you serve at the store, I'd imagine that, you know, your taste kind of changed. So, but like right now, what's your go-to drink?
I just drink regular black coffee.
Are you serious?
I do.
You just talked about how much fun it is and everything.
Well, I mean, I'll drink a dessert drink. You know, sure, okay, all right, okay. Well, last night I made myself a coffee soda. It's not officially on our menu, so it's a secret menu right here. I made myself a coffee pop, which is a drink that I make with like coffee and soda water and stuff like that.
Huh.
But I put in some of the mint flavor for like the holiday kind of theme.
There you go.
So I did a mint coffee pop, and I put the marshmallow charms on top, and I felt pretty fancy.
But you made that last night?
Yeah.
How do you sleep?
I can drink a pot of coffee and go to bed. It's not a thing.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
It's like me. Caffeine just keeps the headaches away at this point. That's all it's there for.
You guys,
Yeah.
you might need to look into that.
Why?
Doesn't give me any kind of.
Well, so you drink black coffee, but
Yeah.
you will, as like your staple, but you will drink all the fancy ones.
Yeah, I'll drink it all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but like all day long, I just drink regular coffee, and if I feel fancy, I'll be fancy. You know.
I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but I mean, like Jared was kind of alluding to, like you're the owner of a business. That's hard enough. You've been the owner for a long time. Like what's just for our listeners who are, because kind of one of the things that we're talking about to people is, you know, people's stories and how they got to these success levels that they're at. But what were some is there like a hard memory or a hard time that you remember that you had to, and how'd you figure out how to get through that?
There was a lot of hard memories. Actually, buying a business in itself is kind of challenging because sometimes when people are, you know, selling you something, it's because it wasn't doing well. So like learning how to, you know, come back from what had happened previously. But I'm the third owner of Happyrock, actually. So
How long has the business been there total?
20 years.
20 years,
total.
okay.
So yeah, I've had it for 10 of those years now too. So it's long enough that it's mine, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, Happyrock is mine. But yeah, there was a lot of challenges at first. But I think that the reason I did well was because I was kind of crazy and didn't actually know that I shouldn't have thought I was going to do well. Like if I had like stepped back and looked at everything, I should have probably been like, oh, this is a bad idea. You know, I shouldn't do any of this kind of stuff. But I just kind of kept myself busy, and I was really persistent, and I was like, oh, this is going to work. You know, the first couple of years I did the Westland Farmers Market, and I was working I took one day off a week from working hours in the shop. And then afterwards, I would roast coffee while the business was still open. That's how busy we weren't. You know, I can't do that anymore. But it was like I just do my coffee roasting for the week while I had a few customers come in. I'd package it all up, and then so that was I think that was like a 9.5-hour day just in the shop right then. You know, and then I'd pack it up, go to Westland, do the farmers market for about 4 hours. You know, then go out and have a couple beverages with the other people doing the booths.
Sure.
And then just go do it all again. You know. So that was a lot of work, hours wise, and But doing the farmers market was actually one of my favorite things. I really like this Westland farmers market when Miles was the director. I'm not sure who's currently doing that. I don't remember how many years ago that was. It's kind of a blur, but it was. But I met a lot of really great people at that market. My good friend Elon from Tempers Truffles, that's where I met her, and Molly Muriel, Brenda Tiffany from Molly Muriel, and
that's another great shop. We've been there for live. Yeah,
she's fantastic.
Cool
and
stuff.
we also have a product we do together too. She makes a soap with my coffee.
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
Really?
That's another fun thing. Again, like kind of crazy, but like I'm like, make a soap with my coffee. She's all okay, and so now we have a coffee soap.
But unfortunately, that's not when you can reciprocate, because it's not when you can go, I'll make a coffee with your soap.
I could try though. Maybe I'll.
You know what? That would be
There's
one.
gotta be something for someone.
Advise against that.
Maybe
one.
For April 1st, I can deliver one to you.
Oh my God, yes! I will totally play along. You know what? My memory is such, I probably will forget and just go right in.
Oh my god.
And then I'll be just like, why is there bubbles? Why is this happening? But it would be epic.
Well, thank you
Get it
for
on
sharing
camera.
that hard part, because that's what we, those are the harder times, and it's nice to see that you got through, and I love that. And you've made all those great connections, and like you said, with those connections, you have a great team.
Yeah, and also a lot of the stuff at the beginning was actually just about chance, and I want to just thank everybody who made those things happen for me, because for me, getting into grocery stores was a challenge, because I was such a small business and nobody had heard of us. They didn't want to take the risk of putting us on the shelves. So I'd take one grocery store to be like, sure, and then I could be like, hey, look, I'm in that grocery store, and they're like, oh, okay, and then it went like that. But it was like kind of thing of like, you need the experience before anybody wants to
Yes.
give you a chance. And so how do you get that experience?
Yeah, you need experience to get the job. To get the job, you need experience. It's chicken and the egg.
Exactly.
But now you're in lots of grocery stores?
I'm in a few grocery stores,
Okay.
I'm also in some restaurants too, so I like working with restaurants. Ooh. I mean, I like grocery stores, don't get me wrong, grocery stores, but I really like restaurants. I work with Coasters, both the locations, and they're great to work with.
So give everybody the location of your coffee shop, and then the other places that they can find your products.
Yes.
Okay, my coffee shop is over on Portland Avenue, which is considered the downtown of Gladstone. We're across from Vogies and down the street from the high school. And let's see some other locations they can find us. We are over in the Happy Valley New Seasons.
Okay.
You can find our coffee over there.
Oh, okay.
And Nybrook Rivers New Seasons and Mountain Park New Seasons. And so Steve's Market in Oregon City, we're over there too. That was the first grocery store. Thank you, Steve.
Oh.
And
yeah,
Steve's
shout
Market.
out.
Yeah. Let's see where else. And some restaurants. We got Coasters. We're over at Vogies, which is across the street from my establishment. We're in Relish Gastropub over in Selwood. Or Moreland, sorry. They get upset.
All right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You make coffee. You don't do geography. You're fine.
I know. Yeah, I'm terrible with stuff like that.
Sweet.
So I mean, you
I'm
really
forgetting
have
a bunch of people. I'm
expanded.
so sorry, whoever I'm forgetting.
No.
Okay.
But you've expanded like to so many different places, though. I mean, it's really it's had to have been, well, like 10 years is not a short time. It kind of, I'd imagine it kind of feels like this roller coaster.
Yeah, like getting accounts is a lot of fun, but it's just like changed a lot over time. Sometimes restaurants come and go, and that's sad. But so I can tell you a bunch of people I've worked with over the last 10 years that are no longer there. But everybody was great. Everybody's been great. So, yeah.
Well, we like to do a little thing. The podcast is always about getting to know people. And so that's what we've done. But we throw another curveball at all of our guests at the end, just because it's fun and I get to enjoy watching your reaction as I talk about this right now, because you're terrified
I definitely
and it's
am.
awesome.
Okay.
But like I said, it's about getting to know people. And so we like to play a little game of Would You Rather?
Oh, no. Okay.
Molly curates 5 Would You Rather questions. It's nothing crazy out, and nothing's going to get you into trouble
Are you sure?
unless you go. Well, if anybody could, I bet you
shouldn't.
you'd find a way. But it
shouldn't.
shouldn't get
Okay.
you into trouble. But just 5 Would You Rather questions, just off the top of your head. We just riff on it for a couple minutes.
Okay.
So without further ado, Molly, would you rather?
All right, here we go. Would you rather be a master at drawing or an amazing singer?
Oh, a master at drawing, yeah, for sure.
But why?
Because I don't have to be up in front of anybody.
Okay.
It's easier.
Okay.
I'm more of like a background kind of person. Yeah.
Sure.
So, like,
business
drawing's great,
owner,
yeah.
Background? I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be a wizard
Yes.
or a superhero?
Oh.
That's tougher, right? More tough? What's the right grammar?
Well, actually, yeah, okay. So I think that one's hard to answer because they might have some overlapping qualities.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to go with superhero.
Yeah,
because I could be a wizard, and that would kind of be like a superhero. So
It'd be Doctor Strange.
maybe I could, yeah, sure, yeah.
We'll go with that one.
Okay, would you rather be in a climate that is warm and raining or cold and snowing?
Oh, that one's hard.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go with warm and raining though. I think because not really. Snow's fun for like a minute.
Yeah.
Until your car gets stuck, and then it really stops being fun.
Right, you get stuck inside your home. Yeah, that makes
All right.
warm and raining. That's fine.
Would you rather be able to run as fast as a cheetah or breathe as long as a whale?
Underwater, I'd imagine.
Dodger.
Okay. Wow. Well, I've never really thought about this before, so
Right, I know.
Huh. tricky, I guess. Breathing like a whale underwater sounds like fun.
Especially if you're in the warm, rainy climate, you might need that.
Yeah, totally.
All right, last one. Would you rather be able to remember everything that you've ever heard or be able to perfectly imitate any voice you've ever heard?
What was the first part again? No, I'm kidding.
Actually got me.
There you go. Yeah.
Gullible
You're
and
gonna read
rude.
it again. Huh?
Anywho.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to remember everything that you've ever heard.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it'd be a lot, right?
Read me so much.
Impressions are fun. I
Yeah.
love them, but considering how much I forget stuff, the first one would probably be a lot more useful in my life.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Okay, well,
Great,
that was fun.
thank you for the
Thank
fun
you.
answers.
I
It wasn't
was
that bad. He makes it scarier.
Well, it's kind of scary. I wasn't expecting any of those questions. I didn't prepare for any of them, so thank you.
This is
Well, and the fun thing is, I have no idea what she's going to ask either, so we're surprised together.
it makes it more fun
Yeah.
for me.
That's awesome.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of community, you were mentioning community before. I just want to do a plug real quick. Me and my friend Candy, who owns EnviroTest, we have brought back the beer garden to the Gladstone Community Festival. So Happyrock sponsors that, and so does EnviroTest. Yeah, and they went a couple years without the beer garden, so we're the ones that put it back together. So now this will be our third year of bringing that back. So if you're in Gladstone the first weekend of August, come by the Gladstone Community Festival and go check us out in the beer garden. We're gonna have beer from Coin Toss. There'll be coffee from Happyrock, and of course there'll be the Happyrock Coin Toss beer together
Collaboration.
in one
Dig
delicious,
I love it.
beverage.
Yes, go to the glass. Yes.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars the first weekend in August.
That's
said,
correct,
right?
yeah.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
And then give everybody hours again so they can visit you at the shop.
Oh yeah, come visit us at the shop. That's a great idea. So we're open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Friday from 7 to 8. Saturday 7 to 8, and Sunday from 8 to 8, and that's 8 o'clock at night. We just added the patio hours, and so we're open later. We got the beer. We're open later on weekends. We have stuff like music, and we have an event that's going to start up again in May. It's called Dad Jokes.
Oh my gosh.
And so people come and they tell their worst jokes, and anybody
Why are you
can
pointing at
create-
me?
You don't have to be a dad. It's just a style of joke. It's like a terrible or wonderful joke depending on how you view it. Two months in a row we had a teenager win. So that's pretty
Nice.
exciting. Yeah, she won. She was pretty stoked. And
I have faith in our future.
yeah, she's a 2-time repeat offender. But yeah.
Awesome.
Lisa, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it, and you're killing it out there. And I wish you continued success on into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning into Territory Tales. We'll join you next time. Thank you.